Episode 4 finally brought us the partnership with Tariq and Monet and the Tejadas. We saw more brutality from Kane, Tariq's love triangle, and how smart Tariq is yet again with even more smart plays. And we saw Cooper Saxe and Davis Maclean against each other yet again. I'm discussing everything we saw in episode 4 Power Book 2 Ghost with this episode review and recap. So welcome back to Movie Bar and let's talk episode 4. First of all guys, apologies that I didn't do an episode 4 predictions video this week. I was fully swamped with the cold, you could probably hear it in my voice. For the past 2 days I was literally just in bed, but I am feeling much better now, so I'll make sure I do one for episode 5 next week. And for those that are new to my channel, welcome to Movie Bar, and if you haven't done so already, remember to smash the subscribe button. But with that being said, episode 3 set up key storylines between Tasha, Tariq and the Tejadas, and we're finally getting into some action in episode 4. And this episode was called The Prince, for those that didn't know, and we saw that later on in the episode when Tariq went over to Lauren's for dinner. They spoke about this book called The Prince, and it relates to Tariq. Tariq is that prince. He described the book as it shows how people get what they want in the most efficient way. People are always going to want your spot, and the prince shows that no matter how much money or power a person may have, they're still going to come for your neck regardless. So he said it's better to address your competition head on rather than wait for them to storm the castle. And this is exactly what Tariq did in this episode. Everything is literally related back to the title, The Prince. The way he described the prince and the way he got what he wanted in the most efficient way. Which is when the episode was kicked off, Monet had a word with him, just warning him to be on time, always have the correct amount of money and always pay in cash. But this is what I wanted to talk about, how Tariq spoke about the prince and how people get what they want in the most efficient way. And this is how Tariq sells his drugs at Stansfield in the most efficient way by creating this app with the help of Simon Stern's partner Bash Stern. And today in the modern day, the name of the game is convenience, and Tariq recognizes this, and this is why he's got Bash helping him create this app called Course Correct, a tutoring app. Well, when I say tutoring app, we know it's not a tutoring app. It's the way he's going to be selling his drugs, and it's smart. This is such a smart way of selling drugs, and it's the best thing is nobody even knows who's behind it apart from Brayden. Brayden is the man who's going to be recruiting the crew, which is going to be the financial aid kids at Stansfield, because they need the money and they use freebies and let the word of mouth do the rest. And it's simple, the apps works like this: math is weed, economics for uppers, chemistry for downers. And the people who want drugs will order the premium package, and they're making some serious money, so serious that they even run out of product, which we see later on in the episode when Diana comes and delivers more to Tariq. And the second part of how Tariq described the prince, it's better to address your competition head on rather than wait for them to storm the castle, is when he got his competition to get into a bust up with Brayden, knowing that Brayden's surname Weston will get him kicked out of Stansfield. And there you have it. Tariq is on top of his castle as described by the prince. He got what he wanted in the most efficient way, which is selling drugs through an app, and he addressed his competition and now stands on top. Everything fell for Tariq in this episode, and this kid is just too smart, and it's not going to be the last of the smart plays that we see from him this season either. And this is why I think eventually he'll outsmart Monet and work his way up right to the top and take control of the Tejada organization. And while I'm talking about Tariq, I might as well just speak about his love triangle now, because we saw him getting involved with not just Diana but with Lauren in this episode, and he's going to be playing a dangerous game when it comes to both of them. He's got a problem with Monet not wanting Diana to be around Tariq, and he's got Lauren who's got a boyfriend, and this isn't the last of the love triangle we'll see. And it's kind of ironic that Lauren's brother has been taken into a facility because he lost control with drugs, and Tariq is the main dealer now at Stansfield. And sooner or later I think Lauren will find out, and I want to know what's going to happen with this love triangle. And speaking of love triangles, I was wondering where they were going with Jabari and Carrie's relationship as well. And when they were at dinner at Lauren's and Carrie was pretty much roasting Jabari, he came out and said that Carrie knows all about Davis Maclean in a way that sounds like Davis Maclean and Carrie have a history. So that's just one to keep an eye on, and I wouldn't be surprised because Davis Maclean is cheating on his wife with Paula, which we saw later on in the episode. And we saw that scene in the trailer pretty much right at the beginning of the episode when Tasha told Tariq that he needs to get a gun to protect himself, and she's right because Tariq is being watched because Monet sent Dru to spy on him, and he even knew this. And then he got his hands on this piece, which is one of Tommy's and Ghost's old dead drops, which Tommy probably didn't clear out before he went to LA. And Dru, let's talk about Dru for a minute, because I have to say, we spoke about Dru a lot last week when we were talking about his storyline in detail, and so many of you as well as I called that Dru is gay, and that's exactly how it played out in this episode. I spoke about Dru's character description and how he's going to be involved with Zeke's basketball teammate, and his teammate has an issue with this dude called Connor who took his number 24. and I bet you Dru is going to deal with this dude Connor for his new man. And then when Diana came over to drop off more product off to Tariq, and this is when Diana asked Dru where he'd been, and he gave her that look, you know where I've been. So Diana probably knows about his sexuality, and I think Monet might do as well, because later on in the episode we saw Monet having a word with Dru, and when she looked in his bag she found his artwork and told him that when it comes to the family business, Lorenzo's always wondered whether he can handle it and he's soft. But when it comes to being in that world, that's what Monet worries about, and warned him that he needs to be careful with himself, and not every man is like the Tejadas. Emphasis on man. So she definitely knows that Dru is gay, and she tells him that nobody's gonna have his back like his family, and he needs to always come home. And this is an interesting one because I think this storyline will develop later on in the series. I personally think Dru won't make it out of this season alive, and just imagine if Monet gives the order to Kane to get rid of Dru later on because Dru becomes a liability. That would be absolutely brutal, but I genuinely think it could happen, so let me know your thoughts on that one. I'm going to be speaking about it later on in a bit more detail as well. And speaking of control, Monet's got control over everyone, and this clip which we saw in episode 4's trailer when Monet was telling Dru, Kane and Diana that their new business partner is Tariq St. Patrick, she sent Dru to check him out at Stansfield. She takes Diana's phone and she shuts Kane down, telling him he ain't in no Ivy League, and she tells Kane that she can control anybody. When she knows what someone wants, you give it to him or you take it away. And this is where she talks about positions. You may have realized I've been saying they all play their positions in a few of my videos, and this is how Monet has control over her people, by playing their positions. And she knows Kane's no decision maker. What he does best is what we see him doing with Lil Guap later on, and that's exactly what he does when he shuts down Lil Guap after he called Monet a puta, not once but twice. Actually, Kane didn't even let him finish the second time he was just about to say it, because he absolutely beat this boy to a pulp, and I'm sure he's dead. Did he look dead to you guys? Because if he's not dead, then this guy will come back, because now the GTG crew have been cut off from their supply. They've got nothing to lose, so they may well come back. So let's just hold on to that one for now. I don't think we've seen the last of the GTG crew. I think they'll cause a few issues for the Tejadas. And just a quick one here, because after Kane dealt with Lil Guap, Kane and Monet had a little word, and Monet told Kane that she can always depend on him. And let's just link this back to how I spoke earlier about Dru, and how he said he's going to be a liability for the Tejadas. I genuinely think they're foreshadowing that Dru is going to be the one who's going to be a liability, and Kane is going to be the trustworthy one for Monet. And when push comes to shove, Monet likes control, and if Dru goes rogue, I think she'll give the order to Kane to end his own brother. Let's just wait and see how this one plays out. Let's talk about Davis Maclean and Cooper Saxe, because these two have been scoring points over each other for the past few episodes, and Saxe is still shady as hell. At first, he wants his partner to tail Tariq, who is a minor, until his niece Riley walks in, and you just know the minute she walks in and what she's going to be bought in for, that Saxe was going to use her to tail Tariq and watch him, and that's exactly what he does later on in the episode. But Davis Maclean and Saxe, they were scoring points over each other all over the past few episodes with the use of Agent Blanca and Rashad Tate. First, Davis Maclean brought in Agent Blanca to absolutely destroy Saxe, but when he questions Blanca, he puts it right back on her and tells her that if she's so against Saxe from feeding Tate lies, why did she co-sign it and use it to get a warrant from the judge? And then she got a statement from Dre saying that he saw Ghost kill Terry Silver, when we know that wasn't the case. And then they bring Rashad Tate in, who speaks a glowing image of Ghost, which irritates Davis Maclean so much, and then he goes and subpoenas who? Tamika. We're going to see Tamika hopefully in the next episode, and we know Saxe went to her place and spoke about hypotheticals, and for those of you who have seen my previous videos, know how I've spoken about Tamika likes to be straight and by the book, and if she needs to come up and speak, then she's not going to hold any secrets back. So could this be the way it comes out that Saxe was at truth at the time of the murder, and how this case gets turned upside down? Let's wait and see. And the episode finishes with Tasha getting this picture of Tariq at school, which I assume Dru would have took while he was in the art class, with the caption, "Kid made some good money. He earned another day above ground," which is another threat to make sure Tasha and Tariq stay in line, and just a way of them keeping control over Tasha and Tariq. And I'm sure that text would have been sent from Lorenzo and not Monet. But that's episode 4. What did you guys think of it? Because I'm not going to lie to you, I think it was one of my favourite episodes so far. The way Tariq was so smart in the way he was dealing drugs at Stansfield, the way Monet has people playing their positions, Tariq has Brayden playing his position for him. This was probably my favourite episode so far, so let me know what you guys thought. Will Tariq carry on surprising us, or is shit going to get real for him real soon? And what do you think about Tamika? Is she going to blow the lid on Cooper Saxe's secret that he was there at truth at the time of shooting Ghost? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I'm going to be back in the week breaking down key storylines as usual. So if you haven't done so already, remember to smash the subscribe button as well as giving this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.